Doing a little Wednesday workshop. I'm going to show you a cool free preset that's on the Mix Detection member site in the free preset section. It's called the Mattmosphere effects unit. And I built a little beat this morning to show you how this effects unit sounds. So let me get my monitor screen up. I don't know if we're going to have a whole lot of chat happening, but I would always like to be able to do that. And we're going to go into full screen with live. I'm going to show you this session, put the effects unit on different sounds, and show you what the effects unit is capable of. And most of all, I want to show you where to get this effects unit. It's a free preset that's available on the Mix Detection member site, which is scrolling at the top of the screen, courses.mixdetection.com. There's a whole section called free presets, which are all about sharing sounds with you. Now, do I get a monitor screen on here or not? Maybe I'll start off by showing you the site. That would probably be a good idea. So you can get in here right now totally for free, no credit card required, no difficult sign up, nothing like that. All you do is go to courses.mixdetection.com, click into free presets, and after you sign up, you can see I'm logged in as the Steve user here. I'm on my user account. And what you do is click into the free presets that are all for Ableton, and you're gonna find, there's my screen. You're gonna find resources for raw beginners, instructions on how to use these presets. And then we got some bass instruments, some synth instruments, some drum racks. And I got this one from the effects rack section. So let's click in there, see what we got. Oh, the Mattmosphere effects unit right there. There's also a bunch of other ones. So you click into the lesson for Mattmosphere effects, and you get a little video that shows you what it sounds like, a little SoundCloud playlist that shows you what it sounds like, a screenshot that shows you what it looks like with these macro mapped control knobs where you can grab the effects controls and get some good sound. And then we have a download for Live 11 and Live 10 with the Mattmosphere effects unit. Notice these are only 9 KB, 10 kilobytes. Like, they're so small, it's almost like a text file. And you just download it, drag it directly into Ableton off your desktop or downloads folder, and you can get it on a return track and start playing with it. So the reason there's one for Live 9 and Live 10 is we have some Macs for Live devices doing LFO stuff. But that doesn't matter. The important part is to show you how to use it and what it sounds like. Let me just check my playback monitor here. Click to expand. Okay, give me a hello if you're watching, if you can see everything and hear everything. I always like to know when there's people here. And let's see, I put my Steve picture up in the top corner of live so you can still see the tracks and everything. All right. Yeah, tell me hi. Let me know where you are, where you're watching from. I always like to know who's watching and where you're at, because that makes it fun for me. So what do we got here? We got a couple of beats. And I'm gonna rack a gate in my vocal. Matt Schultz, no way, #1. Okay, so we got a boom track, right? A little sub bass thing. And I like to look at the spectrum analyzer to see what these sounds are doing. I kind of build tracks by putting something in every frequency range. So here's a little buzzy synth. My strategy here was just simply to create a bunch of different loops where we could put effects on each one of them and show you how this effect sounds. Hand clap, a little hi-hat action, and keep it going with the percussion. So what did I do? I put the effects unit on return A, and the reason is I want to be able to send any one of these sounds into my effects unit. Now, Mattmosphere effects, right away, it's like totally interesting. You've got these two peak EQs moving around from LFOs. So Matt Schultz, the genius, mapped these LFOs to control a couple frequency bands and make a shifting tone that emphasizes some sound. And then we've got the Mattmos flange and a hybrid reverb and a compressor. And fun thing that I think I added the one knob compressor. I'm not sure if Matt had that built in already. So let's just play with it and hear what it sounds like. I want to start with this sound because it's a totally flat one note synth. But what happens when we send it up into the Mattmosphere? So right now we're hearing just the flanger. Notice the reverbs are down to 0. Get there in a second. So you've got controls for the flanger amount. If you don't want it, you just bypass. So let's dial it in so we can hear it. We've got flanger rate. Let me make sure I got the blue hand on my macro knobs. And I love the way these are mapped because the 8 control knobs go perfectly with your push controls. So you can get really cool sounds out of the effects unit. And you don't need to dive super deep into all these plugins, and you don't need to understand sound design very well. You can just grab the knobs that are mapped, and they're set up to give you control of the cool stuff. Hey, is that loud enough? Let me maybe turn this up a little bit. Playing with the flanger rate. And I like it that there's a sync and free range knob, so we can sync the flanger to be beat matched. If you turn the feedback up all the way, you can really hear it pretty well. So I'm going to go back to free range because I like to slow down the flanger. Turn down the feedback to get rid of that little chirp. I almost said feedback. And let's throw a little reverb on here. Now it's getting interesting. And this is the hybrid reverb in Live 11, which means you can pick a blend of the algorithm reverb and the convolution reverb. So you basically get to pick 2 different reverbs and blend them. Let's leave it in the middle. Get a little more reverb. And one of my favorite tricks is to compress the reverb, or compress the effects unit, which basically brings, in this purpose of compression, we're going to raise the lower end. So we want to turn up the volume to get the quieter parts louder. And I got a 1 knob compressor. This is super cool. Watch what happens over on the right side. You can see the threshold and the makeup gain are moving together. That's a hot little tip on how to use compression. The threshold is going to tend to lower the volume of what you hear as it decreases the dynamic range. So you want to balance that by turning up the makeup gain. And you can see as I crank the compression down, we get more of the wispy, washy reverb tail. So let's drop this back into the mix and hear what we can do as we compress the reverb. Here comes our compression. I'm going to take the FX off. That's our little flat pulsing synth. And I can hear that synth in the mix. But it's kind of just a background texture. It's not really doing very much. And the reason I like sound design is because when you get sounds moving, it makes the mix more interesting. And you can even have just an electronic music loop that sounds really, really cool if the effects are doing stuff. So let's bring in the effects unit now on that analog bass synth sound on track 2. And all of a sudden you get this flanger thing happen. You get a whole world of sound, and you get all this stuff going on with that bass thing that wasn't there before. And here's another little sound design tip. You can cross over from sound design into making build-ups and events in the arrangement. For example, if I want to make a build-up kind of a thing, I'm going to mute some drums and change the flanger rate. Check this. Speeding up the flanger rate and drop the beat. And we have a quotation. We have Matt Schultz himself watching right now. Matt just said, I like to use that effects on noise or noisy kind of sound like one of my rain recordings. So yeah, if you got some found sound, traffic, people talking in the background, rain, nature, wind, birds, static from an old device, any kind of like found recordings that have an interesting ambient background texture can get even better with the Mattmosphere effects. Let's check out what happens. I like to push the limits of what is possible. So let's check out this boom sound. So I want you to know what you're hearing first. So we've got just a basic sound. Let me mute my mic so you can hear that static is in a little bit of the mic noise. I've got a sidechain compressor on this boom to give it a little pulse. What happens if we put this into the Mattmosphere? Now that sounds like a little bit loud, so I'm going to back off on my compression, which means back off on the makeup gain. I'm thinking maybe reverb is not the best thing for this sound. It gets kind of washed out and muddy. So let's keep the reverb down minimal. But what about the flanger? Can I synchronize this flanger and do something cool with it? I didn't have a whole plan for this workshop. I just wanted to show you this effects unit, show you where you can get it. So while I'm on the topic, if you just came in, go to the Mixitecture member site, courses.mixitecture.com. There is a section called Free Presets, which is completely free. And when you click in, you get access to bass instruments, synth instruments, effects units, and even some mix tools, and some drum racks too. So this Mattmosphere is in the effects racks module, and each one has like a lesson. This site is set up like online learning. So you have modules, which are like topics, and then lessons, which develop each topic. And we are in the Mattmosphere effects unit. And like I said, you can sign up totally for free. All you need to do is put in your email address. You'll get some messages with instructions on how to find stuff and everything, because I like to make it easy for you. And then you go to downloads, you grab Live 11 or Live 10, Mattmosphere effects unit, and you get to play with it like this. So now I got this flanger thing happening. Let's put this back in the mix. Does that add anything to the boom? I don't know, you be the judge. Maybe a little bit of reverb, yeah. Don't be afraid to put more than one sound into your effects unit. What's it sound like on a drum group? Maybe we can use this creatively. Like, let's say we want to make a build-up, right? I'm going to cut the kick drum channel, start hitting the effects. When it gets up to a dramatic peak, drop the kick drum back in and cut the effects out. So that's a great handy way you can create an interesting build-up using your reverb effects, and you don't have to think or use your brain. You just turn the effects up. Well, cut the kick drum, slowly turn the effects up, possibly even change the flanger rate. Okay. And then you can bring it in and out to spice up the mix. Or put it on one sound, like the conga loop here. I'm going to take the feedback down to get rid of that chirp. And listen to how that just takes that channel and brings it some depth in the mix. Like right here, track 7's barely audible, just in the background. Not a whole lot you can hear, right? But when you bring this effect in there, gives it a lot more presence, a lot more space, makes it more interesting. So I'm going to try putting this on the whole drum bus. Like a subtle little reverb going on. And something happened with my analog synth. I'm not sure where that went. think I got the blue hand on the wrong parameter there for a minute. Matt says, wow, I didn't try that yet. I'm not sure what wow you're referring to. Was it the thing about the build-ups or about the putting it on the drum bus? But whatever you want to do, that is the Mattmosphere effects unit. To deconstruct it, we have an EQ8 with 2 parametric EQ boosts mapped to LFOs. So the LFO is moving, changing the frequency of that sound. And let's give it a little more reverb. So the 2 LFOs are moving the EQ bands. We've got the Mattmos flanger. And that feedback makes it kind of chirpy so you can really hear what's going on. Let's slow that flanger down. I like a nice slow flanger. And then the hybrid reverb, which is lots of fun in Live 11, where you can pick your plate reverb or your convolution style or item or room, and then blend it with the algorithm and set your pre-delay and all that kind of stuff. And then finally, this one knob glue compressor is a handy little tool that adjusts the threshold and the makeup at the same time to bring out the best of the sound and control the peaks all with one knob. I kind of invented that mapping to have it available on, so it only takes up one knob, one slot in the macro knobs. I know you can add more macro knobs now that we're in 11, but I made this up in 10 or 8, whatever. So that's the Mattmosphere effect unit. Oh, Matt is saying percussion thing, Latin bongo type stuff with percussion on it. Yeah, man. A little bit boomy. And so one more time, if you're just coming in, I'm gonna log out here and show you what it looks like on the front end. Just in case this is your first time here, the Mix Detection member site is set up like this, and it's got a little intro section. And when you scroll down, you can see all the different courses that are set up for helping you with Ableton Live, sound design, song structure, mixing, side chaining, sound design. There's a bunch of really cool instruments that all have cool sounds, and you learn a little bit about production from a hands-on session lesson. But this one is called Free Presets. You can just click the picture, takes you right in, and all you do to get access is click the green button. It says sign up here, and a little window is going to open on the side. You put in your name and your email address, you agree to the terms, blah, 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 and you click sign up. You don't have to pay anything, no monthly fee, no credit card required for sign up. This is literally a free section of production tools that are going to help you have more fun with live and do interesting sounds easier. So like I was saying before, you don't have to be a master of everything in the sound design world. You can download these instruments and effects racks, and they're all mapped with control knobs that make it really, really easy to play with them right away. Basically, you tweak the 8 knobs in the macro section, and it's going to do something cool. And then the lesson tells you a little bit more about what it is, what the knobs do, how to use this instrument or the sound. So that is there waiting for you on the Mix Detection member site. And that's all I'm going to do for today. Let me get out of my screen share. Back in the camera land. Thanks for watching. I'm Steve. This is Wednesday. I like to do quick little promos sometimes. I haven't been doing it for a while, but I think the Wednesday workshop is going to come back where I'm going to pick a free preset, make a little track, or take an existing session that I'm working on and show you one of the free presets so you understand what it sounds like, how you can use it, how I use it, maybe get some creative ideas to stretch your production brain, maybe just get a little bit of inspiration to fire up live and play with it tonight instead of Netflix. Why watch videos when you could watch Ableton on screen and make cool sounds? And then export a test mix and share it with us in track feedback so we can hear what you're doing, comment on it, give you some ideas, share inspiration, and then you can hear what other people are doing to get more motivated about your music. I am really happy with what's happening in this group. We are almost at 5,000 people right now. It's been growing steadily. A couple of years ago, we were at 250 people. I remember like the winter 2017, 2018. It was like a couple hundred people hanging around, not really doing anything. And then I started doing track feedback every week, posting, commenting, sharing tracks, making sure people got feedback on their music. And now it's grown to where track feedback is the whole core of what we do in the group every week. People are sharing tracks, getting comments, getting help, putting them out on Beatport, hitting the top 100 in their genre. It's really exciting. So I want you to put out some tracks. I want you to share your tracks and track feedback, and I want you to use some of these free presets to do it. So when you do, share a mix and tell me, hey, Steve, we used this preset in our track, and now I want you to hear it. That would make me really happy. That's like better That's like my dream right now, is to hear more people using these sounds in creative new ways. So go to courses.mixitexture.com, sign up for the free presets. That will also put you on the Mixitexture mailing list, so you get weekly news about new presets, new lessons, new workshops, track feedback reminders, new releases from people in the group. And you can, of course, tell me when you have a new release so I can help promote it and make sure people get some ears on it, because I want you to be successful with what we're doing. If you have any questions, drop a comment, and I will be back on Saturday this week with track feedback in the morning. Thanks everybody for watching, and special thanks to Matt Schultz, the dub techno genius, for making this effects unit and sharing it with us. By the way, Matt, I got that Ken and Barbie remix. It's almost done. I'm going to send it to you soon. Let me know what you need for mastering, or if you want a pre-master or something. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a fantastic